So to compute this series for this function, what we're going to do is write our header function, and our output is t, our name is trap, and our inputs are a and b, which is our endpoints, n, the number of iterations, and our generic function f. So we're going to do a running sum to compute this trapezoidal rule, which is the area under a curve. So we initialize t at 0, and then we do a for loop. So we say for I is equal to 1 through n, like it tells us right here. We're going to say t is equal to t plus, and then we're going to use our generic function. So f, and then in parentheses we're going to write what's going to be the input for our generic function. We're going to have a plus I minus 1 multiplied by b minus a divided by n. And then we're going to add the second part, which is the generic function again, a plus I multiplied by b minus a divided by n. And then that's it for our for loop, and that's it for our function. Now, the parts, the generic function that we're going to replace are going to go right here. Instead, I'm going to write them over here so we can have enough space for that. So for Gauss, the Gauss function, we're just going to say function, and then our output, we're just going to say y is equal to Gauss. Our input is x, and we say y is equal to, and then exponent, we'll say negative x, and then we'll multiply by x again to make it faster instead of using the power function. Say and that. So that's our first function. Our second function is cosine, and so we're going to write function, and then say y is equal to cosine sine, and our input is x, and say y is equal to cosine of x multiplied by sine of x, and then we say plus 2. We end the function right there. Now the script, if we were to say use this entire function in a script, so under a script, if we were to put this in a script, if we were to call these and say we're going to use the integer 1 as our output, we're going to say we're going to call trap by saying our a, which is negative 10, so trap of negative 10, b is 30, n is 100, and we're going to, if we're going to call a function, so Gauss, we're going to say at, and then Gauss. That's how you use a function handle. And the same thing goes for integer 2, where we say trap of negative 10, which are our endpoints right here, 30 endpoints, 100 number of iterations, and say at cosine. And then that's basically would go under a script, and then under that script we would have all these functions in which these functions would call each other using these function handles. So that's all there is to this question.